Okay, this is number 8. I understand we're going to about number 10, so we're getting there. Sir, this is from Playerin. Sir, should the government be able to keep secrets from the public at all? And is ultimate freedom from freedom more important than ultimate security? No, I'm for, if we have to have a choice, I'm for ultimate freedom, because I don't believe the government can give you ultimate security. You know, even if you said, I don't think we can get ultimate freedom, I want ultimate security. And you know the old saying, if you try to have both, you end up with neither. And I'm convinced of that. The Constitution was written, especially with emphasis on the Fourth Amendment, that you have privacy, and that should be as ultimate and as personal as proper as possible, with law enforcement officials only knowing about what you're doing through proper channels, and that is search warrants. But the government should essentially have no secrets. But right now, the government has all the secrecy, and we've lost our privacy. It's been turned on its head. And so, like the CIA, they say, you know, the big argument today about the CIA, and don't prosecute anybody in the CIA, even though they committed all kinds of war crimes and tortured people and killed people, committed assassinations. Right now, our CIA's running the Predator program, bombing citizens, and not all of them, they claim they're bombing terrorists, but they're bombing a lot of innocent citizens over in Pakistan. No, they shouldn't have this secrecy. Congress doesn't give them permission. Okay, go ahead and start bombing Pakistan. So I would say that no, not really. About the only time I conceive is if you had a truly legitimate war of national defense, and it was a declared war, and you were placing troops and you had a secret invasion. Yeah, you shouldn't put that on the front page of all the newspapers, but that is so rare. How long has it been since we've had a legitimate war where we've declared it? We don't even have those anymore. So no, I don't want the secrecy of the CIA. I don't think they provide us any services. And if you think you need secrecy for them to be over there and torturing people so that we're safer, I think it's destroying the soul of America by permitting that. So even if people see this in two extremes, let me tell you, the government has way too much secrecy. So even though we will never get to where I would like to be, just moving in that direction is so much better. And there is essentially no privacy in the American citizen. And this medical bill is going to even make it that much worse. The government's going to know everything about your medical problems, and every bit of treatment and drug prescribed is going to be monitored and supervised by bureaucrats, both before and after. So that's the type of loss of privacy that we have, and it's a pretty bad situation. This is number 9, Chiang Kai-shek, it looks like. Dr. Paul, given your well-established belief in the merits of the free market system, I'd like to know how you feel about the Americans with Disabilities Act. The ADA establishes restrictions or requirements on businesses, something I imagine goes against the free market principles, yet it also ensures, for example, that a blind customer with a service animal such as a seeing eye dog will be treated like any other customer and not turned away for bringing a dog into a store should a free market decide which customers get service, or is this the responsibility of the federal government? No, it's the responsibility of the business people. It's private property. And if they mistreat people who are handicapped, don't go. Boycott them, you know, and advertise and say, this is what they did to me. No, the ADA should have never been passed. It well motivated. Who can vote against it? And yet it's an intrusion into private property rights. But you know, I remember very clearly flying on airplanes a long time before Americans with Disability Act. Guess what? Airlines went out of their ways to take care of people who were in wheelchairs and couldn't get up the stairs, and they got them on. And I've seen them take them up even on commuter aircrafts, and they had techniques for doing this because it was, first, it was a humanitarian thing to do, and second, it was good for business. But if people do things that you consider immoral and a bad behavior, they should suffer the consequences, and you have every reason and obligation to boycott these people. But to say that the federal government has to come in, I remember when this law came into effect and I'm practicing OBGYN, I run into the doctor's parking lot in a big rush to get to a delivery, and there was no doctors in the hospital were handicapped, and but there were like 6 parking places which were closest to the door, and I wasn't allowed to park there. If I was parked there, I was in big trouble. And but why couldn't a hospital make this decision? Why did some federal bureaucrat come down and do this? This idea that you can't improve society without a mandate from the federal government, I think that you can. We can improve ourselves. We can come up with common sense. But the worst part is the rejection of the private property right. And that's where we get into trouble. I mean, people who own property, a piece, business property to me is the same as owning your home. So far they haven't come into our homes, but they try to, and they probably will. But all of a sudden, if you have a store, that's public property, and you have to follow everything the federal government says because they say you're part of interstate commerce or some other thing like that. And this looks like